Welcome to Subconscious Sundays. I am your co host, Reverend April Kling Meyer, and this is my beloved Timothy Freeman, my beloved co host. How
Hi,
are you doing
everybody.
today?
Great. Really super honored to have a chance to get back with you into the swing of this and honored to see everybody here who's joining us live.
Yeah. So we'll just dive right into it. There's a lot of ground to cover today. We'll do our best to stay under 30 minutes, but as our longtime viewers will know, we rarely do. And if it lasts 40, 45 minutes, it lasts 40, 45 minutes with our apologies. So we first of all want to just set our intentions for what we are doing here. We are here to create a fun and entertaining and laid back way to discuss the potentially serious and heavy topics of the collective right now. And we like to remain open, inviting, welcoming to those of you who have questions or ideas, as long as you respectfully bring them into the conversation.
Yes, and we are reestablishing our weekly ritual here with you all to gather our shared communities here in a virtual sacred space. We'd love to be able to share our knowledge here while hearing your responses. We've got a few core values here for Subconscious Sundays. One is being respectful of everyone's individual journey. April, you can pick up there.
Rooted in compassion for self and others, super important here.
Yep, and promoting growth and expansion.
While we are creating a supportive community. And while we were on hiatus, we've started, each of us started working with some new clients, some of which who have come to us through the broadcast of these episodes. So we love that this is becoming a community, and we love that people are benefiting from it. And at the end of this broadcast, we invite you to set up an appointment with us. We've got our link in the description everywhere this video is broadcasted. We are also trying a new thing, broadcasting live on Facebook. We've always just done it on YouTube, so we're giving this a go, seeing if it helps people make this more makes it more sexful. Successful. Oh, lovely. Makes
Well,
it
we
more
might talk about sex at
accessible
some point. Yeah.
and successful. So I see that the numbers are growing. People are starting to come in. Welcome. I'll tell you that today is a topic that is very, 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 very important to me right now. Peace. And the reason why it's very important to me. Now, those of you who know me, who are watching the show, it probably feels at this point like I'm beating a dead horse, repeating this over and over again. I'm getting my master's degree in international peace studies right now. So peace is something, yay! So peace is something that's on my mind a lot. And it's something decided to work this learning into my ministry. So not long after I embarked on this journey, the world erupted in yet another skirmish that is proving to be extremely violent, deadly for tens of thousands of innocent people. And it's not just one of those types of things. There's multiple. And Bear was just telling a group of us yesterday in a yoga workshop that there are now 52 countries out of 150 some odd countries there are in the world. Over 1/3 of them are at war. So peace is something super, super, super something super important, something we need to be actualizing right now. And I'm not here to mess around when I talk about peace. I'm not here to float it up into the sky as some glowing object like our new intro, which is cool, by the way, the little prism and everything. I think that peace tends to be kind of an abstract concept for a lot of people. And it seems like something that's always going to be slightly out of reach, maybe just a goal that we're oriented may never actually have. But I'm here to tell you that you can create peace it is up to you. So let me first, before I go into my diatribe, my real sermon on this, go over to the Facebook discussion, which I always put a discussion on Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays when I'm busy on Wednesday, you know how it is. But every week we have a broadcast. I put the discussion question on my personal Facebook page publicly, so anybody can comment. And this question this week was, what would it require of you to prioritize peace in your life? It may not sound like that relates to global peace, but I will make it relate to global peace before the end of this episode. So, Nikki says, I think I'm mostly there now. She says hesitantly in case the universe wants to check her on it.
It
And I wanted
might.
to talk about that. Izzy said right underneath that same. So Izzy and Nikki, yeah, we totally know. Yeah, and Bear's here. Hi, Bear. 52 out of 250 countries. Yeah, that's so over one
Still
day.
big, still too big of a number.
Too many. One is too many. Two is too many. Thank you, Bear, for correcting me there. I really appreciate getting the facts right. So thank you. Thank you on that. Um, ignore the noise, says M. And I don't remember exactly how I replied to that, but it was essentially like, if you have the privilege and the ability to do that, great. But not always practical or available for us to ignore the noise. Okay. Still a great question, or still a great response, because it is kind of on us to ignore a bit of the noise. That's a big part of it. Like not taking on what isn't ours. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Along that vein, dear Jill, our dear beloved Jill, get along well with my little family. If we isolate from the rest of the world, it's pretty peaceful. I'm to the point in life where it's not even worth dealing with people who can't be pleasant. We all still have to, but it's much more peaceful at home. Again, if you have the privilege and the ability to do so, that's fantastic. I will note that it's not always a peaceful environment at everybody's place of residence. But Jill knows that. But the question was, how do you prioritize your personal peace? And that's how she responded to that. Now we're getting to the real nitty gritty. Mia says to stop letting all the horrible stuff that's happening in the world inside. I think I've far too much empathy or something. Figuring out how to not let the horrors of this world maybe give me some peace. Okay. That's a toughie. All right, I'll keep going.
Yeah, here we all are seeing it
Mm-hmm.
all together.
Yep. Live and in person. Energetic boundaries. Oh, see, Ashley actually watches the show and she knows that was a topic from last season. So bonus points for Ashley. Energetic boundaries and regular spiritual examination and checks of where I am allowing, encouraging, seeking trespass to occur at my own hand. Oh, now we're getting somewhere juicy. That work is the hardest. Oh, good. Somebody said it. My peace is nurtured within. If I am sabotaging that myself, I can't truly surrender into peace. Okay, Ashley's on to something. Suella says, me time. I strive to find quiet time for myself, but I'm not always successful. Peace efforts are not always successful. There's never been a perfect peace effort, ever, at any level. Rachel says, I constantly go back to the answer I use for everything. I ask why. Why am I doing this? Why do I not want to do this? There are many questions that come out of the why, but the why is always the first. Once I start answering it truthfully, it lets me know what I need to prioritize. And sometimes peace comes by inviting chaos. Sort of the idea there, if I know Rachel, and I do, that we allow ourselves to be perfectly imperfect, like just allowing the chaos to be. I think there's some wisdom to that. Joanna says you have to prioritize your own peace within to be able to manifest peace in any other area, period. You cannot have peace if you don't personally know what it is at its very essence. Um, like I said, there's a lot to say. I'm almost done with this portion. A rootedness in the soil in which you live, a respect for the soil that is underpinned by the concept that you belong to it rather than it belonging to you, and an interconnectedness with the people, animals, and trees around you, and an appreciation for the history of your home, especially if you are a settler in indigenous land. And Eve knows that I'm a settler in indigenous land, and she's somewhat aware of my journey. So I really appreciate the poeticness of her response. And it went a bit further and was beautiful. And I really recommend that if you're watching this, go over to my personal Facebook page, April Kling Meyer, and you can see um, all these responses in their fullness. I did actually have to edit these, believe it or not. Peace comes first. Gabby says, it is my north needle. Everything else is coming out from it. My actions, attitudes, plans, decisions, connections. Rather than looking for peace, I am living my life from a state of peace. So Gabby is the one that I'm going to finish with on this. And I'm going to go back to just telling you what I'm here to tell you, right? So in the first day of lectures at my school, at my course of learning in international peace studies, we learned about John Paul Lederach's 3 tracks, which is an uncomfortable, admittedly, way of looking at society, but it's an important discussion to have. Like there's this idea that society is divided into 3 tiers. Track 3 being you and me, the ordinary people, the people who are just getting by in the world. Then there's track 2. These are our community leaders, people who hold office in small constituencies, um, owners of companies, people who are visible in their community and are respected as leadership in that community. And then there's track 1, which is the people who are in charge of the world. And I don't remember who it was that said it. Maybe it was just my professor who said it. But the idea that track 1 folk are the people that you see on CNN. They're the people that are talking on CNN. They're the people who are guests on CNN. They're the people who are featured. They talk about on CNN, right? So those are your track 1 people. Now, those people tend to be who we outsource and or scapegoat determined to be our own personal levels of peace. And we outsource and or scapegoat these people for how much peace is or isn't created in the world. We trust these individuals in the world to be the ones who are out there making peace happen. And I want to just name this because when I say it out loud, I hope you're hearing this and realizing A, it's true, and B, they're not ever going to do that job. And you see and hear the absurdity of what I'm saying is that we're relying on people who have no vested interest whatsoever in creating peace. Peace is not their goal. Their goal is to stay in power. Their goal is to get reelected. Their goal is to get wealthy. There's no part in that. That peace there's no part in any of those 3 things I just named that peace would really necessarily, in the way things are today, would help them do that. It would get in the way in most cases. And it until we prove that peace is profitable, electable, or makes people more powerful, it will never be something that is a priority. Now,
I keep trying to just to cut in here. I keep,
yeah, go ahead.
mentally, many of you guys might be doing this too. Like, I keep trying to mentally resist that, but I'm also knowing that it's kind of true what she's saying. So
Right.
maybe
It's
chew on this a
bleak.
little bit. Yeah.
It's a little bleak, but I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. Going back to how we talked in season 1 of this show about how so much of our lives are dealing with grief, for instance, there's so much of our lives that we see in the world that we are forced to face discomfort. We're forced to face things that we don't like, that are terrible. And we are forced to see this at scale when it comes to things like genocides. So, what do we learn from this? That's where we come in as individuals. We have to realize that the job of creating peace is ours. Now, I mentioned track two. When you get into the business of organizing communities and rising up in leadership, that's probably the first thing that came to your mind when I said this, right? Like, we have to be the ones, we have to be the ones that create peace. You start thinking like, oh, okay, well, then that means I need to rise up in leadership. You start looking at your track two options the minute I start talking about stuff like leadership, right? And track two is very beneficial to the creation of peace. Don't get me wrong. And I also want to name here that there's a lot of mobility amongst the tracks. Like President Carter, for instance, was definitely a track one soul. And then after he became president, as he aged and became more involved with poverty alleviation, he was also involved with peacemaking and peace building efforts abroad. And he became a little bit more of a track two type person. Um, so there's a lot of mobility, there's a lot of fluidity among these tracks, right? So you could be track two tomorrow. You could, this day and age with digital media, you could be track one tomorrow if you become influential enough. Example of this, Tim and I were talking about yesterday. Tim, what is her name? Greta Thunberg.
Greta, yeah.
Yeah, Greta Thunberg, or Malala. You go from an ordinary person, track three one day, and the next day you're, before you know it, you're track one and you're influencing the whole world. So I want to name that too, but that's not what I'm talking about. A lot of people that made comments today were kind of getting the right idea. We really have to start here. We have to start here, not April, but ourselves. April's going to be the one who creates global peace. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying, though, that we need to go into our own hearts. We need to look into our own chests. And we need to be honest with ourselves. How are we prioritizing peace in our own lives? Because just like I named wealth, power, and electability as the goals of our world leaders, we also have goals that are not necessarily conducive or not necessarily encouraging the prioritization of peace. Sometimes those goals look like achievement, relationships that aren't serving us or that we're trying to get, and creating a lot of dissonance in our lives. Or there's also jobs that we hold on to that aren't really serving us. There are a lot of things that we have as priorities in our lives that are contrary to the priority of peace. And I think that we finished up last season talking about drama rama. I really kind of feel like this episode is a little bit of a sequel, a spiritual sequel to that episode, because there's so much in our lives that fosters our pursuit, our ongoing pursuit of drama. It's addictive. There's lessons to be learned from it, sure. But if we are prioritizing peace, we are seeking a world without drama. Does that mean you need to ignore what's going on? Does it mean you need to isolate yourself? I'm not really here to tell you yes or no on that, but these are probably extreme measures that you might have to take from time to time in order to gain whatever you need, whatever peace you need to make peace happen. From there, you're able to see in the ways in which peace is created in your relationships. You're able to engage in deeper listening with your friends and loved ones anytime it's online and you're in the feed and somebody pisses you off, that you realize that there's not going to be anything productive happening by saying some kind of sarcastic comment in response. Rachel really said kind of where I'm at with this, which is to say, why am I doing this? Why would I want to do this? And really having that stop, that moment of reflection. In Tim's work, that's referred to as a pattern interrupt. It's having that pattern interrupt and going, okay, I'm not going to perpetuate discord, dissonance. I'm not going to perpetuate drama today. I'm going to choose something different. And when you get into the practice of creating peace in yourself and with other people, you'll start to see that forgiveness and atonement and self-compassion for other people play a massive role. I'm not saying let every little thing go and become a doormat. Oh, no, no. Forgiveness can take a lot of different shapes. And if you want a little bit more of a lecture on that, go back to last season. But I will say this, it becomes a crucial process. It will look different every time, but forgiveness is the key to peace. And I will say one more thing that's another key to peace, and that's the thorough and complete processing of one's grief. Again, another episode from last season, but I cannot stress this enough. If we process our grief, we're acknowledging our needs. We're acknowledging the things that we require in order to survive. And when we lose those things in the grief of a place, a person, or an idea, or a phase of our life, a time in our life that we dearly, dearly miss and regret taking for granted, if we practice those twins, like I mentioned in the grief and gratitude episode, the twins of grief and gratitude, that we're able to more thoroughly process our grief. We're able to acknowledge what our real needs are. And if we're able to acknowledge that peace is necessary and peace is the goal and peace is the priority, we can make a huge difference not only in our own lives, but in other people's lives. And I truly feel that this going viral, necessarily this video going viral, I don't see a lot of people talking about that in the world today, maybe Marianne Williamson. But if this idea goes viral, if this concept goes viral, if we start treating this like the wearing a mask and staying 6 feet away from people of 2024, if we start making peace a priority in our own lives and our own relationships and our own communities in that order, we might actually see global peace at some point. It won't be perfect, but it will be moving in that same direction. And with that, I turn it over to you, my dear.
Thank you, April. Yeah, there's a lot here, clearly, you guys. One point I wanted to make, okay, this is Subconscious Sundays, right? April and I both work with folks to help, strengthen the connection between our conscious thinking minds and like what's in our heart, our subconscious mind, everything that is in our emotional world that's backing up our behavior in the world. So, some of these comments, like, you know, really, really great stuff, like asking why, and some of these things that are conscious mind exercises. And even like what April's talking about, like processing our grief and, forgiveness. Like we can approach this successfully from the conscious mind if we're kind of ready for all of that, right? But sometimes we really do need to lean back into our more resourceful, fuller states of consciousness, recruit more of our consciousness into this effort. And that's where the work April and I do comes in with I'm a certified hypnotist. April does a lot of like really cool stuff with dreamwork and of course spiritual counseling. So we're always trying to help get to some of these subconscious emotional roots behind what, maybe why prioritizing peace is difficult for people, right? Um,
Right. It really helps you check your motivations when you do dream work. It
yeah,
really helps you go, oh, that's still operating back in there. I had a dream last night that I was somebody I had a conflict with years ago. And keep confronting the same person over and over again in various dreams. And I keep realizing how much that conflict with that person, maybe I still have a little forgiveness to do with that person, but how much that conflict influences my like daily decisions. And if I leave that unchecked, if I'm not going into my subconscious mind and becoming integrated with what I'm learning, then I'm not creating peace in the world.
Yeah, and this is what happens for so many of us. I mean, it's natural. It's naturally the way our minds, our consciousness kind of works with this, the constraints of this, you know, life that we're in. Um, we can't figure it all out with our conscious mind, and our emotions exist to serve us to meet unmet needs, wants, and desires in our life. And sometimes we have to tap into the deeper parts of ourselves to even know what those deeper needs are that are behind those emotions that are playing out in knee-jerk reactions. Um, so again, big topic, but we always do on Subconscious Sundays, we wrap up with a bit of a hypnotic meditation. So
Yay!
let's go ahead and get started with that. For everybody with us, if you'd like to join us for this hypnotic meditation, go ahead and just find a comfortable place to relax, where you can have a straight spine, uncross your legs, uncross your arms. We're just going to take a few minutes to tap in with a hypnotic meditation that I hope helps everybody here. So as you're settling into a safe and comfortable position where you'll be able to relax very deeply for a few minutes undisturbed. Of course, don't participate if you're driving, but or doing anything else that's requiring your focus. And if you can, uh, play along here, great. Just go ahead, and as you're settling in, I want to share just a few words from the Dalai Lama about cultivating peace. Um, and this is actually a Facebook post from him a few years ago. He says, world peace can only be based on inner peace. If we ask what destroys our inner peace, it's not weapons or external threats, but our own inner flaws like anger. I find that interesting way of putting that. And then he continues, when you meet someone you don't like or someone says something unpleasant to you, it's your own response that disturbs your inner peace. And this is why love and compassion are important, because they strengthen us, which is a source of hope. So when we practice stabilizing a calm nervous system, strengthening our connection between our conscious and our subconscious minds with meditation, or more directly with hypnosis, in a very uh, direct way, we can become more aware of what's behind our responses and our emotions that might lead to conflict or a lack of peace. So one way to take an honest look at inner peace is to become aware of how we talk to ourselves, and how we treat ourselves can really be a reflection of how we can easily end up treating others. So go ahead and settle in once again, allowing yourself to relax, taking a deep breath. And as you exhale, release any tension in your body. And then with each breath, you sink deeper into a state of calm and tranquility. So I'd like you to find a spot on the wall, or if you're outside, just a spot above your natural eye gaze. Your eyes might be upturned. They should be upturned. Look something like this. Go ahead and take in a deep breath now. And as you do, really eagle eye that spot. Focus in on every little detail of that spot, the shadows, colors, nuance. And on your next exhalation, look through that spot, noticing the corners of the room, engaging your peripheral vision. And when you're ready, close your eyes. Good. Now relax your jaw. And as you do, this sends a signal to your entire body that now is the time to relax. And gradually slow down your breathing. Get into a comfortable, slow rhythm of breathing with a really long exhalation. Let all the air exit your lungs. Just gradually slow down your breathing. We want to get towards around 6 breaths a minute, but just a comfortable, slow rate of breathing. Now relax the back of your tongue. curious suggestion. As you relax this part of your body, it decouples your tongue from the part of your mind preparing to speak, freeing your mind to have new thoughts or no thoughts at all, perhaps stillness. Good. Now drop your consciousness into your heart, whatever that means to you. We often think about the seat of our consciousness in our head brain. Drop your consciousness into your heart. Good. Now take your attention to the surface beneath you. Sense of gravity gently holding you close to the earth. And as you focus on this sensation, you feel more and more settled, comfortably relaxed into the earth, supported by life itself. As you take in another deep breath, you focus on this feeling of gravity supporting you, and it helps you send your awareness down, deeper and deeper downward into the earth, grounded, supported, down to the very center of the earth. And as that awareness fades, you go even more deeply, more comfortably relaxed. Good. And you're in harmony with the pulse of the planet. You send this feeling of relaxation all the way from the top of your head to the very tips of your toes. 1, 2, 3. And as you take in another deep breath, you allow your awareness to reach upward this time into the universe, up, up, as far into the heavenly realm of inspiration and insight as you want to go. Call in now your higher power, whatever that is for you, and all the loving guidance of your spiritual allies. Know that an all-encompassing love fills you and your environment. And whatever you believe, you're deeply, deeply loved. And as you bring your awareness back down, down into your body, let the grounded, nurturing energy of the earth and the wisdom and the clarity of the divine commingle in this balance point of your heart. And so you can at once feel grounded, settled, calm, safe, open to inspiration, and blessed with the bounty of life. And as you reorient your consciousness to your heart, you start to feel a deep, familiar sense of warmth and comfort. Imagine a warm, golden light surrounding your body now, filling you with a deep sense of peace and tranquility, almost weightless. It's very spacious. And as you focus on this sense of spaciousness all around you, it's almost as if you can't tell where your body ends and the rest of the world begins. Feel this light, this golden, warm light, washing away any last bits of tension or stress in your body, leaving you in a state of deep relaxation and stillness. And as you slow your rate of breathing even further, comfortable, slow rate of breathing, you notice just how still your body and your mind can become. You get just still enough now to start to feel the flow of life all around you. Warm, luminous. It's like the light of the full moon completely surrounding you. Now drop back into this flow of life and just let go into that flow and feel it. Any part of your body offering resistance, just let it go. Now, in this relaxed, focused state, I want you to take your awareness to something in your life that you beat yourself up over. Something that's causes or has caused you to experience guilt, remorse, regret, maybe even shame. Now, imagine yourself at the very moment you're experiencing those feelings. There you are. Be there now. Where are you? What are you doing? And what are you thinking? in this state, we're able to slow everything down a little bit. What are you feeling there? There you are. And most importantly, what are you saying to yourself in this moment? What types of things are you saying to yourself? I'm going to count to 3. And at the count of 3, this scene will fade away. 1, there witnessing yourself. 2, as this scene is fading away, you become aware of other times in your life where you've punished yourself like this. And 3, with the magic of your mind, you now get a highlight reel of different scenes, other times in your life where you're beating yourself up like this. I'm going to give you just a moment to let that highlight reel run through. And taking a deep breath, and as you exhale, send another wave of relaxation all the way from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. 1, 2, 3. Now, with the magic of your mind, I want you to gather your past self, that first instance that came to mind where you're experiencing guilt, shame. Gather that version of you back into you here right now. Invite that version of yourself to become absorbed back into you, into your heart right now in this moment, and every other version of your past self that came through in your mind from that highlight reel. Invite all of those past versions of yourself now, drawing them in. You become like a magnet, drawing them into your heart. And here, everybody's gathered in your heart. And I want you to go ahead and surround everybody there with this golden, warm light. Send every single one of those parts of yourself some love right now, imagining what they were saying to themselves, to you at the time. And just fold them back into your heart right now. And now, with the magic of your mind, we're going to go to a different time in your life where you felt a sense of real inner peace. Maybe it's something popping up right now. Whatever it is exactly right. A time in your life, it could be driving a car. It could be in a beautiful natural environment. It could be with your family. Whatever it is exactly right now. A time in your life where you're feeling an exquisite sense of inner peace. And be there now. Where are you? What are you doing there? Who's with you, if anyone? And in this moment, be there now. What do you notice around you? What are you thinking, if anything? And what are you feeling? Notice what this sense of peace feels like in your body. And any parts of your body right now that might be offering tension or resistance, drop away. Allow the tension to just drop away. And take your attention to this feeling in your body at this time when you're experiencing this exquisite sense of inner peace. And I'm going to give you another moment to just enjoy and bask in this feeling, noticing what it feels like in your body. Now, as your attention returns to my voice, from here it'll be much easier for you to conjure this feeling in your body of what real inner peace feels like. Moving forward throughout this week, you can revisit this feeling anytime you'd like. And also, anytime this week, it'll become very easy for you to notice times when you might be speaking in a way to yourself that's unkind, speaking to yourself in a way that you might not ever speak to anyone else, or at least you think you might not. And it'll be easier for you to catch those moments and become aware of the times you are being unkind to yourself. And you're going to celebrate this awareness. Awareness is always the first step. You might also bring back this grounded sense of peace that you experience today into your body at those times you notice yourself speaking to yourself in a way that's not peaceful. And in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I get to 3, open your eyes and emerge from our hypnotic meditation. 1, reorienting yourself to that sense of spaciousness all around you, feeling that now. 2, noticing that sense of inner peace in your body once again, and letting it fill up every muscle, nerve, and cell in your body. And 3, opening your eyes, feeling great. Right back with us on Subconscious Sundays.
Just gorgeous. Thank you so much,
Yeah,
Tim. That was really, really
absolutely.
lovely.
I wanted to take
Yeah.
everybody on a little bit of a roller coaster to I think it was clear what we're trying to do there, but also help everybody realize how powerful our minds are. If you were able to relax into this exercise and you were able to experience what I suggested to you, this is all within you, all within your mind, as is the power to choose your response more clearly this week because of what you experienced. That's my hope.
Yeah. And that's great homework, too. Just taking that hypnosis inward and remembering that sensation that your body felt as you go through your work week, starting probably tomorrow for many of you, and going through the motions of your daily life, checking your social media, checking your text messages, interacting with coworkers, family members. Remember that feeling in your body of what peace feels like. Take that moment, like Rachel said. Why am I doing this? Why would I want to do this? Take a beat, pattern interrupt, and always feel that necessity to slow down before you react and before you create more drama for yourself. Take that moment to slow down and ask yourself those necessary questions. Prioritizing peace is a process. It isn't perfect. No one ever does it perfectly. But if we make it a conscious priority, we can get closer and closer to a lasting, felt peace in our lives and perhaps even globally. We just have to make this notion viral. Do everything you can to make this notion viral, right?
Yeah, and I like when you talk about this as a process, and we kind of talked about yesterday, like a process kind of might, to our thinking mind, to my thinking mind, implies that there's an end result to it. This might be an ongoing process with lots of little results along the way, and that's what we're going to notice is those results where we can, end up in those places of peace.
Well said. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. We had quite a number of you today coming in and out. I know that sometimes it's not possible to stick through a whole entire episode, but we do appreciate each and every one of you. And if anybody wants to add anything, say anything here at the end, we've got some really great feedback for you too from Reverend Ashley Oliver. Thank you. Lovely. Thank you, Tim. Yes. Beautiful. And of course, our favorite longtime fan, our dear bear, soul food of the highest order. Thank you both. And these are always available to you, these episodes on YouTube. If you weren't able to watch live, you can rewatch it anytime. The entire episode, it will be available to you in moments. So you can start it from the beginning as soon as it's, processed with an end on YouTube. But if you want the benefit of working with each of us directly, having that interaction is a way to really slingshot results. These videos are available and episodes are available to you as sort of our public service to other people that we serve. These are free at no charge. But the benefit of working with us directly is going to slingshot all of these results that you get from watching our broadcasts into much, much faster and much more potent results. Now, I don't like to be too result oriented in my own work. I believe that therapy of any kind is a process, but I do think that you will see those significant points where you feel better and you feel improvement when you work directly with either one of us. So, from our clients over and over and over again, that working directly with us is where you really see the tangible stuff. So, if you want to practice your life, you want that dialogue with somebody who understands what it is to prioritize peace, we're here for you. These are things that we currently are going through in our own lives. And these are things that we're passionate about and that we have devoted our lives and our purpose to the study of. We're here for you. Now, with Tim, he's going to offer you these really beautiful, excellent ways to completely dial down and allow yourself to meet your subconscious mind in a more intimate fashion. With me, it's going to be the opportunity to talk things out, be heard, be understood. So it's sort of really great to work with the two of us. In fact, one of our very, very favorite clients has decided to go in tandem with us 1 week after the other. And we're able to offer now sort of a package in that way where we can each work with you and take turns. And you get the benefit of both hypnosis and talking things through with a spiritual counselor, spiritual guidance practitioner as myself. So go into the comments. You can pick either one of us to book some time to talk. Whoever of the two of us you most deeply feel that you'll get some better, more tangible results with, go for it. Click our links. They're in the description, and we would love to hear from you. We will see you next week where we will be talking about hope and faith. See you next Sunday.
Thank you, guys.